Hey, real quick, you guys ever heard of a universal golf swing? Does such a thing even exist? We're going to talk about it in today's video. Trying to get myself back in shape. Oh, wait, I forgot something. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Golf Test Dummy, the channel where I use my game to help your game. Today I think I may just be able to do that for most of you golfers out there. I really think that this could help a lot of us out tremendously. I alluded to it in my last video, but today I want to elaborate on the point just a little bit. Let's get into this one. Since I've been injured, I've been doing just a little bit of chipping and maybe some pitch shots out here in recent days. And when you think about it, this is some of the simplest part of the game. This is where you start a lot of people. Everybody's kind of played putt-putt, so everybody understands, putting to a certain degree. But the next thing, and a lot of coaches will start students and things off like this, with just chips and pitches. It's really, that great sound. It's not that hard, right? All you're doing is taking the club back a foot or two away from the golf ball and then through a foot or two after the golf ball. That's what I mentioned in my last video. I alluded to that. I talked about how if you just took a snapshot of somebody like face on down at their feet and you set up a camera right there and you just kind of got an image or a little bit of video, just a couple frames of video of that small window where the leading edge of the club and the face make contact with the golf ball and the golf ball just starts to take off and go toward the target. You think about it, a chip or a pitch is just a small version, great contact, of a larger golf swing. But maybe it's the other way around. I've tried just about everything under the sun out there that you can think of. I've tried training aids in the past. I've tried all kinds of drills. I've done a lot of my reviews, my in-depth swing method reviews here for you on this channel over the course of the last 3 years. And I've studied so much. I've read things, I've watched things, I've listened to people. I've seen people in person. I've gone to coaches in person. I literally just about anything that I can get my hands on, I've done a lot of that. And really, at the end of last week's video, one thing that I tried to do was to take every experience I'd had and distill it down to just the simplest universal truths that I could come up with to give you in that video. Speaking of the word universal, there is sort of this holy grail, this mythical place or just concept that's out there, the universal golf swing, something that every teacher could teach this one swing method, this one philosophy, and it would be applicable to everybody. That's kind of the holy grail, right? It's like the Ark of the Covenant in Raiders of the Lost Ark. All of this tech and all of this stuff that we have nowadays has taught us a few new things about the golf swing. For instance, the face to path relationship and how that relates to curvature of the golf ball, draws and fades, how those actually occur, spin rates. But along with all of this technology giving us all of this great insight and all of these data points back, all of the things that we can now represent numerically, with all of that, I think we've gone further down a potentially bad rabbit hole. If we're looking for a universal golf swing, it needs to apply to everybody, right? Let's think of some of the modern golf instruction, right? You think about the right elbow has got to be in just the right place, and if you get your wrist set here and how your hips should be opening more toward the target, that could be universally applicable, right? If we're thinking biomechanically, we want to think about how to move your body this perfect way. What are the optimal ways that we can move your body so if we get the proper movements correct, you could really look like this. Well, body movements, shifting your weight. This is probably a bad example of the proper biomechanics. Let's go to another one. How to use your footwork, right? So it's all footwork. You can use pressure plates now, and we can measure how your feet are interacting with the ground and just where the pressure is, and is it the toes, is it the heel, and then all of that. So when you start look at but with the lower body, Let's go to the next one. Golf really comes down to your hands, right? It's all about your hands, your fingers, how you use those. The club needs to be gripped in the fingers, not in the palms, the sensitive parts. If you can train your hands to work really well, then you... Okay, so maybe it's not about how you use your hands and training those and then letting the body support that either. So that can't really be a piece of a universal golf swing either. But this one, all the top tour pros, they've got to get in here and they've got to get that elbow right. Let's show you with the club. This has got to happen, right? This must happen in a swing. So when you're coming into impact, this right elbow has got to be bent, and then the shaft is kind of in line with that. And you've got to have the proper spine tilt and flexion, and your hips have got to be opening, and you deliver here, and I can see my right arm under my left arm, right? You've got to have that at impact, kind of like that. Is somebody messing with my pictures? I'm gonna get this straight. I'm just gonna skip over the visual part of this discussion on biomechanics, because all these teachers who know all of these things about biomechanics, this is clearly the way to go, right? I mean, we're supposed to be getting our bodies into the correct positions, but it's universal for a lot of people. Biomechanics is the way to go, right? Biomechanics is, I think you can see what I'm getting at here. Modern instruction is all about teaching you how to get your body to act a certain way, to move a certain way, to be positioned a certain way, because after all, it's how your body moves that determines whether or not you make good contact and send your shot toward the target, isn't it? The only thing that this golf ball understands is what this golf club face does to it. It has to come in a certain way, so it has to have the right velocity and trajectory. Right? It has to have that. It can't be coming from way out here and then circling around that way. It has to be coming from a certain direction, going a certain direction, which is basically a piece of a circle at the bottom. So really sort of like from here to here. It has to be tracking a certain way, so that's got to be there. The other thing that's got to happen is that if this ball is sitting on the ground, even if you're hitting a driver off the deck all the way down to a wedge, you have to contact the golf ball before you bottom your circle out. You can contact the ground after it just a little bit. You can contact the ground maybe at the same time and get by with it. But in order to have good contact, you've got to have that tracking on that sort of arc at the bottom, and you've got to catch ball first, then turf. Must happen. Must happen. Now, there are certainly ways to make the golf swing more consistent. There are certainly ways to make it more powerful using biomechanics and trying to make the most of your body and the way that your body works. If you're trying to go pro and you got all the time in the world, going for biomechanics after you get the skill to be able to make this club track and contact the golf ball properly, you can certainly build a game that involves biomechanics after that, but that's advanced stuff. That is for golfers who are either elite or want to become elite, but you can play some really, really good golf, maybe not on an elite level, without having to completely change how your body moves. I see videos all the time. It might be Instagram or it might be on Facebook. It could be on YouTube, but they're trying to go for feels. And so when they stand up there over the ball, their feel is that this falls way behind, and then they turn their hips like this, and they keep turning their spine and get into this position as a feel in order to get square. Now, of course, that's not really happening in a swing, but that's how they want to feel in order to get their body to perform. I mean, does this look powerful to you at all when the ball's down there? Does this look powerful at all to you? Does that look like anything powerful? I get it. Again, I understand the biomechanics. I understand that with all of this photography and all of these measurements and everything we've quantified now, I get it. I understand that in the right hands with the right training and the right guidance and enough time, that this right here could turn into something that laces 372-yard drives all day. I get it. But unless you've got the time, the flexibility, all the body parts and everything working for you, along with the expert eye of a coach who's going to work directly with you all the time, it's going to be really hard for you to change how your body actually functions when something so simple as driving a nail with a hammer is something that you didn't have to have any training for. You just figured it out and you're really good at it. But I have literally played around with all kinds of grips. I've switched to a 10-finger grip that's more in the palms. I've had it in my fingers with an overlap. When I first started playing golf, I was on an interlock. I've played with a glove. I've played without a glove. I've played with my grip split in between. And look, I can figure out relatively quickly how to make any one of those grips work. Now, there is some argument to be made that you can get a little bit faster club head speed and maybe get a little bit more power if your hands are more together instead of having them split. And okay, I get that. But those are little things you can fine tune. The bottom line is that you don't even have to have hands that function properly in order to be able to learn how to hit a golf ball, as long as you're focused on making this do what it does. You don't have to change your body. Your body can literally be any different way. But the design, the basic design of all golf clubs, an iron set, woods, a putter, wedges, the basic design of those is rigid. It doesn't change. You don't see golf clubs that have a circular shaft. You don't see golf clubs that have the face on the back of the club and you're using the back of the club to hit the golf ball. You don't see that. The basic design of this is universal. The clubs are universal. We don't have to be universal. We can literally be anything as long as we can make this go in a circle, repeating, catch ball before turf with a little bit of speed. That's all universal. That is the universal golf swing right there, and it has nothing to do with who's swinging the golf club. Guys, bottom line, if everybody can't do it, it's not universal. You can't teach a golf swing that tells body parts what to do, when to do it, how to do it. You can't do that and call it a universal golf swing, because even if it's 1% of the population that can't do the things you're asking the bodies to do, it's not universal. This is universal. You can be in any country, any time period, and the basic design of this golf club is the same everywhere. You may have to lengthen the shaft or put clamps onto the grip or something for certain people, but this section right here from the shaft going into the club head and the club head itself, that's universal. So we need to make the club swing as it's supposed to, rather than trying to make our body do something to get the club to do what we already know how to make it do if we just let ourselves do it. Hammer and nail, cutting an onion, brushing your teeth, tying your shoes. Maybe we all would do it a little bit different, but it's all activities that we picked up in a relatively short amount of time and we're able to perform now to an elite level. Even if we can't play golf to an elite level, we can still play some very, very good golf if we just learn to make the club swing in a circle and contact the ball at the right time, rather than trying to make our bodies relearn how they move and how they function. Thanks so much for being with me today. Give me a thumbs up down below if you like this video. Leave me some comments, your thoughts on it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell off to the right and select all on notifications so you don't miss anything. I've got some really good stuff coming up for you guys this year. I appreciate all the support as usual and the encouragement. See you in the next video.